as you talk about everything that's happening on the roads and stuff like that, we can always talk about the through spills and everything that happened in the field of play. I guess you heard what we were talking about earlier on to do with the new cricket jersey we saw. What's your take on that?
I understand where the argument and the whole debate is coming from. Because it's a mindset, it's an association. When you associate something with what you've seen and what you've learned over time, then that is what you ultimately believe it is what it is for. But if you go into the historical context of all of it, then Pamo, you might find out kuti your assumptions and your mindset may not necessarily be correct. I understand. Jira Reretso anditika. First and foremost, we understand kuti yes, even within African culture, taito gadzirawo machira. Even long before the colonial days and so on and so forth. The pattern and the design has been associated nechivan. But also at the same time, there are so many things we can associate nechivan, but that are there for basic use. Mvura ikaiswa mbodhoro, ikanzi o nenganga. Imvura yechi yemteuro. Kana kuti ikanzi o nempostori. Ya mvura yemteuro. But as long as it is water in a bottle, without an association to, it's water in a bottle. As long as jira iroro risina kupfekwa nenganga, ultimately riringori jira. But we have associated a pattern and a design in that regard. Now, ladies and gentlemen, off air, Tinashe made a very good observation though. He felt that if there is a national government, we all agree.
Yes.
There's a national government. It was launched. It was paraded. Many celebrities wore it in a fashion show. I think we saw Ruveniko, we saw Chief Koti, we saw all those parading that government. Maybe that should have been the first port of call.
Yes.
For them to have done that. But I'll also explain some of the behind the scenes that kubuda kwe Jira Reretso miraikash kwanzi kubuda kwe jezi riya and I'm going to forward the press release to you, which came from Zimbabwe Cricket. The coming out of that jersey was entirely sponsored by Indian companies, and who are here for this series as well, sponsoring this series. Saka Ivo this is the pattern.
Was it a way of they sponsored it so that they are somehow encouraging us to adopt what we value within our culture?
Adopt your culture, because Indians are very big on their own culture. Saka, they're also saying kuti kana tauya munzvimbo mu space yenyu, we also want to see your culture. Which is why they got the commentators, the TV presenters, every one of them are wearing that pattern, inclusive of our own players. They are wearing that pattern. So the association for this particular moment is to say this is Zimbabwean culture. And ijira associated nezima. Zvangofana patinonzi hanzi kukellers, we are makapfeka African attire. What do we usually go wearing? And it's ruona. Madzimai anotoenda akatopfeka South African vakatorova chicheche chibasket cheche.
Saka iwe uchiti jira iri as long as risati raenda parinofana patinoti ndo parinoshanda harina value. Ndokupa example.
Yes.
Pfeka bhande revabvuyi wopinda muchechi iwe woti handisati ndaita process yenyu yamunoda kupa ndakangoripfekawo zvangu, and you tell me if you are going to be accepted and allowed to do that.
That's where Wimbo is coming in. But the association. Yes. And the setting as well. Yeah.
Association and mindset around one particular thing. Those know it is out is in Zidi.
But Mashavi, it's part of our culture. And then I don't get it when we say.
But when we then anyone who wants to wear it. Is that the question?
But this is our national team.
Yes, it's our national team.
Representing
the example. It's part of the culture. And what it's part of culture.
No, it's
process go through for you to be allowed to wear it. Is it not the same thing that you're supposed to go through the process for who is entitled to wear Jira Iroro?
But all right, it's the same thing ne Gemens re ningirikini remasowe handiti izvezvi ngatingofamba ngatingoendai pamupedza nhamo izvezvi. That's the same thing you're saying. Kuti wacho ari kutoritengesa should they not go through the same process yekuti vabva vabvumidzwa kuti vari soni jira iroro resowe.
Check out this message hanzi boys makaona here kuti iyo India they were very smart nedesign yejezi ravo imi makunzi mirai tikugadzirirei.
But all right, Ivo they are sponsored ne Adidas. We all know that. Saka obviously zvine ma rights and whatever ma contracts anenge akasainwa for them to continuously wear that without changing the design. Unlike isusu manje tiri kutouya tichitosponserwa jezi and zvine mariwo mukati. Saka toramba here mari nenyaya yejira reretso.
I've got a song for you guys.
Hanzi
this is a V Mofu with a song called Jira Reretso. Right?
But
okay, you picked up.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think, or my personal opinion, I think we need to get those guys who are so much into our culture and understand kuti Jira Reretso and the significance of the Reretso. And come up with our own conclusions. Because of course, when you associate it with something else, which is different from what then it is meant to be, we are then going to just, outrightly dispute no, they are not supposed to wear it because of this and that. So I think let's first get in touch with the people who are so much invested into our culture.
Yeah.
Madzimambo edu. Tinyatsokumbonzwisisa kuti Reretso, all right, what's the significance of it? Because sometimes we might say that the national team is not supposed to be wearing this because of our own mindset and our association of the Reretso to certain things that we heard kuti zvaimboitika.
Because takangokura tichiona madrama ng'anga dzakapfeka majira eretso, saka we associated it naizvozvo. We are watching programs and all sorts of things vakapfeka jira reretso, so the association is simple. So the same thing I would say, torega here kufuga masheets white nekuti sheet rewhite ndo rinoshandiswa kugadzira gemens remasowe. Ndo zvatiri kubvunzawo. Everything is by association and ultimately
nice. White no mirechi. No mirechi white. Symbolic for what?
A number of things. Peace, righteousness, utrene, and so on and so forth.
It's symbolic for what?
Just it is by association and by what we were taught growing up, what we saw. Iwo pawakaona drama rese paive neng'anga wanga usingaoni jira reretso.
Exactly.
Kandosa ndiri kuti it is by association. If iwewe wakakura uchiona jira mira ndati dai jira iroro ranga rakapfekwa naJohn Chibadura, uchiona rakapfekwa naJames Chimombe, wakariona rakapfekwa naani nemaartist, waibva wangoti ai jira revakomana vemagitari. Saka association is very important in the shaping of mindset.
Relax. Ndipe maartist anopfeka machira eretso vanoimba.
Aimbomira relax. An example.
Indikupindura aye wakananga one-sided. Tokofana Diana Samkangi.
Ana V Mof.
Ana ndiani futi munhu.
Endimuridzo.
Yes, vese vanopfeka jira reya vane belief yavano belief.
Belief yavano belief. Anditika. Saka ultimately it is on the basis
Aiwa. But
Off
ona ruvimbo
what they've been-
kana
what they've been associated with.
ona ruvimbo. Okay, you say rine associated ne belief imwe anditi amusi makurerutsa were belief yevamwe vanhu kana makungoritora kuriita pese pese.
Makunorimba amai varona
Amai varona makaripfeka.
yasvikirwa ground yese one team chaona chaona.
Oh man.